Hi, everyone. My name is MiaoNLI and welcome to the Blockbuster 2.5 changelog video. And this is Chunk7 who will demonstrate new features with me, and thanks to BaiHuo Shiraka for helping us make this video. Since MiaoNLI's, Metamorph, Chameleon, and emoticons related updates are mostly behind the scenes or relatively minor, we'll be covering these changes interspersed throughout this changelog. So without further ado, let's get started. First off, this update has made some changes to the chroma blocks. The normal chroma blocks now canceled the block brightness propagation, that is self-illumination effect, to avoid light pollution caused by turning on the shaders. And the dim chroma blocks thus canceled the solid color function. The next thing is the optimization of GIFs. Now the animated GIF textures in the Blockbuster folder, aka B.A, also support Optifine shader with normal and highlight texture file name extensions. With the right shaders, you can make even cooler effects. In addition, you can see a directory in the texture picker with the same name as the GIF material, but with the .gif > extension, where you can use any frame from the GIF animation file for the current morph. Next up, we will look into some optimizations to the playback system. First is the damage control message feature. If you don't know what damage control is, you can refer to this video. When you play back a scene with damage control message enabled, a message about damage control will pop up at the top of the item bar, which may prevent you from modifying the map after enabling damage control to avoid tragedy. You can also turn it off in Blockbuster Mod Options panel, or just turn off damage control. The next one is the Stop Scene After Close feature. Usually, when you attach a scene to the camera profile, if you exit the camera editor, the scene won't stop playback with it, and you have to stop it manually, which causes some weird issues. Now, you just need to enable Stop Scene After Close in the camera editor options, and you can automatically close the scene while exiting the camera editor. As well as in this update, we got the actor into the good habit of covering the chests as they go. Also, actors now don't even need to enable fake player to open and close chests. In addition, this update adds a new command called /record merge. It works by copying all the actions from one player recording to another player recording. For example, I now have a player recording with two morph actions that change size, but I want the actor to jump in the middle, which means I need to re-record this recording. And of course, after the recording is done, all the actions in the timeline will be lost. So we can use /record merge to transfer the existing action data. Let's restore the player recording to the previous version. /record, restore, recording ID, and 1. Then create a temporary recording to store the action. And use /record, create, recording ID, and the duration, to make this recording effective. Next, we copy the action from the first recording to the second temporary recording. /record, merge, first recording ID, and the second. Then open the player recording editor. We can see that the actions from the first player recording were successfully copied to the second player recording. Finally, we re-record the first player recording. Then use /record, merge, the second recording, and the first recording, to transfer the actions from the temporary recording back to the first one. This update also adds a new feature called Immersive Editor. This new feature allows you to edit model blocks and morphs in the player recording directly in the world, which allows you to decorate scenes more efficiently and create interactions between actors. Note that if you want to use this feature in the player recording editor, you must attach the scene to a camera profile, and edit the player recording in Aperture. In the Immersive Editor, you can press F3 to toggle highlighting models, and F1 to quickly return to the player recording editor GUI if you are using the player recording editor to do so. Incidentally, in addition to the new feature of the Immersive Editor, MiaoNLI's and Metamorph have also added some new features to the Morph editor. For example, you can now hold the left mouse button and use WASD, Shift, and Space to move the view, and use Ctrl or Alt to accelerate and decelerate. In the body part panel, normally, changing the limb to which the body part belongs will change the position of the body part relative to the whole model. But now you can hold the Alt key to switch the limb to which the body part belongs, while keeping the original position of the body part. And this feature will be very useful in some special cases. In addition to the interface you just saw, you can also find it in the player recording editor in Aperture and in the sequencer morph editing GUI. You can press Q to toggle the display of the onion skin. Note that using the onion skin feature in the immersive editor will forces the model to be highlighted. This feature can drastically improve the efficiency of your animation. Speaking of sequencer morph, this update also adds many amazing new features to the sequencer. Considering that many people use sequencer morph to create complex animations, this update adds serial numbers to the list of sequencer morph GUI. And when you hold the Control key and click the Add button, the new morph will be added to the next position of the selected morph, instead of being added to the end of the list. You can now set the loop count and endpoint for sequencer morph. In conjunction with the completely random feature of the sequencer, I think this will give your map pit NPC a richer and more varied performance. The loop offset feature allows you to shift your sequence once in a specific direction at the end of each loop. For walking animations, which repeat the shift many times, this feature can help you reduce a lot of work. If you have a sequencer morph, and it contains a body part that is also a sequencer morph, you will find that the animation of the sequencer inside, which appears as a body part, will be interrupted because of the different durations inside and outside. But if we enable the Keep Process feature for the inside sequencer morph, this issue can be solved. When you drag the timeline bar for previewing, you may see a Generate Morph button appear at the bottom, which allows you to turn the currently seen frame into a new morph. Keep in mind that if you do not see this button, it is not a bug, as only some of the morphs support this feature if animation is enabled. Next, are some changes to the tracker morph. The Aperture Modifier Tracker allows you to use this tracker in Aperture for some first-person, selfie stick effects. All you need to do is set a unique name for the tracker morph, then go to Aperture, add a tracker modifier, and type the name you just set. Note that only the trackers on the actors in the current scene can be tracked. Also, Tracker Morph now adds two new trackers, the Minima Morph Tracker and the Aperture Modifier Tracker. In the Minima 3.6 update, Minima added the ability to export After Effects keyframe data, and this tracker allows Minima to additionally export tracker morphs tracking data for After Effects. Here are some demos on how to use these data. You just need to copy the contents of the generated text file, then go into After Effects, find the layer where you need to import the tracking data, and paste it. The next one is about Morphs Model. Models can now be set in the Morph Editing GUI with color and glow and animation support, which I think will provide more possibilities for more creators. This feature is also available in Chameleon. The next belongs to the Chameleon mod. Chameleon Morphs now add a new feature called Action Player Mode. You can set up animations you made in Blockbench to the animation action of the Chameleon Morph and enable the Action Play mode. In this mode, Chameleon mod will only play the animation action, and this action is controlled by the morph animation, which will help you preview the actor animation in your scene. Finally, is the model editor update. Now, the modifications you make to the anchor points in the model editor will no longer affect the model pose you have already made. This allows you to adjust the limb data of your new model more quickly. That's all about this Blockbuster 2.5 update. It's an exciting feature overhaul that I hope will help you in your creation. If you're interested in the full changelog, you can click the link in the description. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.